Dealing with a 2018 Chevy Malibu. This has a no crank, no start condition. It had no brake assist, and we did have timing codes that were related to crank cam correlation, if I recall properly. I have to pull my scan tool and get that information, but this is pertaining to technical service bulletin, and this met that criteria. Okay. So what happened? The vacuum pump here failed. It's locked up. That failed. I assume this got really hot, damaged it. Well, if it got hot, it expanded, and it caused the pickup wheel to rotate or move. That's my assumption. Now, based off the technical service bulletin, this mark here needs to be lined up, this QR looking code thing here, and this small thin notch needs to be at 12 o'clock. It's that small one. Let me see if I can get a better view of it. So this small one here needs to be at 12 o'clock. Currently it's around like 5 o'clock. So what I'm gonna do, this is a relative car, money problems. We're gonna take a cheaper alternative. It looked like I can just replace the pump and put it back in its cavity when I get a new pump. But at the moment, without having to change the camshaft, I wonder if I could actually rotate this gear here, this pickup or reluctor wheel. If I can rotate it to 12 o'clock, get that back in its position, and it start up. Now, let me just say this. When the car wouldn't start, what I had to do to get it started, and she managed to drive it about 20 minutes here. She wound up disconnecting the exhaust cam sensor. It's not going to start, but what you have to do is apply the brake, and with the car off, apply the brake, press the accelerator pedal probably about 10%, and start the car up, and it should start up. That's the sequence that I had to implement to get the car started. So if it doesn't crank, because it's hit or miss, the best chances of cranking, disconnect the exhaust sensor, cam sensor, go in the car with all the lights off, apply the brake, apply the throttle about 20%, 10%, start the car up, and it should start. The exhaust, the sensor for the exhaust side is going to be located, here you go. So for reference, here's your oil cap. There's going to be your exhaust cam sensor. It's going to sit in this cavity here. Your intake cam sensor is going to be in the back. All right, so here's I pulled the exhaust cam sensor out. So that's where it's located. Disconnect that, and you should be able to start it. So let's jump right onto it. I'm not going to sit here and talk a lot. Let me get the camera set up. I'm going to see if I can get a pair of pliers in there first. Maybe if I can get like a little chisel, hammer, tap it back, see what happens. So let me explore some options. I'm going to try these big pair of pliers first. I know I need to probably put something on here, but I just want to kind of get an idea of how much torque I'm going to have to apply to rotate it. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put a mark for where about this needs to be indicated, just on this axis, because I don't want to move it, shift it left or right. So I'm gonna heat it up hopefully this works, and maybe if I get it hot enough, I'll be able to loosen it up and rotate it forward. So, and then I'll try using the pliers to see what happens. So that did move it a little bit. I need to move it enough so I can get some leverage. Close back up. Moving, but it's slow. So the technical service bulletin, the keyway is not proper. It don't match mine, but that's irrelevant. The main focus is this QR looking code here thing, the cam lobe facing to the left, and the center of this code lining up with the center of that notch. And I want to say I achieved that. I mean, there's going to be a little variance. You know, I'm pretty sure the car has a small accommodation for, you know, imperfections, so I'm not going to worry about that, but it looks right. The code, cam lobe, center. This is the only small point on here. So I think I'm in good shape. What I'm gonna do, I mean, I could tack weld it, but that had to get pretty hot and screw up and seize up to fall off. So it's on there. When it's on there, I can't move it without heating it up. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna get everything put back together. The pump is still broken. So, but I don't have a new pump just yet, but I just need to see if it starts up immediately. So I'm gonna get everything back installed in reverse order, and then we're gonna see if it starts right on up. Sorry, it's been about 30 minutes later, about 35 minutes. I got everything put back together. I don't have the pump completely in there. Just got 2 main bolts holding in there because it's got to come out anyway. So I'll pull the battery and pull the 3 bolts retaining the vacuum pump assuming that this works. So got my fingers crossed. Here's the hole for the exhaust camshaft. That's our mark that we got lined straight up at 12 o'clock that we're hoping is going to work. Here's the cam sensor. Cleaning it's not going to do anything because that's not the problem. I'm not going to worry about cleaning that crud that's on there off. I'm simply just going to install this and get this installed in reverse order, see what happens. And if it works in hindsight, I'm like, I wish I would have welded it, but I am very confident that I'm not gonna have to worry about it coming off if there's any problems. So we'll see. Now, do I need to do anything else? I don't expect to start up immediately because the fuel system has been depleted. And might I add, I hate the way they design these direct injection fuel rails, so hopefully we don't have any leaks. And yeah, I think we're good. All right, I'm getting logged into the computer. Just FYI, this car has 134,000 miles. And let's see if I can get the glare off the screen. I'm just going to see if there's any codes present so I can show you the codes that were stored if it still displayed. But and again, the cam position sensor was disconnected, so yeah, that was my fault. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I don't know why it's so difficult for me to clear these codes out. It's like hit or miss, and the car's off. Either way, let's start it up. Nope. Well, again, it had to prime itself, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I do got to make sure everything is hooked up properly. Make sure there's no codes present. Let's see what code's coming up. Fuel rail pressure low during cranking. So yeah, let me make sure let me make sure that's. So the interesting thing is there's no timing codes at the moment. So it's just fuel rail pressure and air temp. Let me see if I cleared. Is it gonna work? Nope. Let me press the accelerator. Let me try that. Yeah, no. Still not cranking. But there's no codes in since cleared. Let's see if any timing codes come up. Heater pump. Take cam position system performance. Let's see if I can clear these. No. Try to clear it here. Nope. All right, it's the next day. The Amazon wound up bringing my pump here, so I got a new pump. Unfortunately, I had some inconveniences, such as not only did the injectors start leaking because I screwed something up. I do need to put this back, but the pump started leaking also. So I had to go to the dealer and get the vacuum pump seal. I should have the part number. I found it. So here's the seal. This is the part number for the vacuum pump seal. It got destroyed when I was pulling off the valve cover, and also the vacuum pump destroyed it, so that was $20 for that. Another thing, I had a bunch of fuel leaks. I don't know if these work just yet, but they're the exact same size. The dealer wanted $180 for the injector kits. I found a part number you can get from your local part store after me trying to cross-reference and match up the injector O-ring. This goes to a GMC Acadia, but it has these are the direct injector injector kits. So the O-rings are blue, so I use 4 out of the 6 But unfortunately, when I went to install the rail, instead of lubing it up, I threw it on dry and it damaged the O-ring, so it gouged it. Let me pull one out. And so yeah, it wound up damaging the O-ring, and it was leaking fuel inside the well there. So I got those. We should be fine. I lubed them up. The fuel rail fell right on, no problem. And I still got to tighten that nut up. But I don't know about the other stuff to be using here, but the main thing I needed was those O-rings, and that's what, if you have any issues, that's what you're gonna have to do. So because I was like, I'm either gonna have to get a used one from the junkyard and pull it off of another vehicle, or I'm gonna be able to cross-reference it. And luckily GM is still interchangeable, but they're not listed for that vehicle. So yesterday it didn't start up. Today it starts right up just fine. The battery was low, charged the battery up. Now it starts right up. There was no check engine light, and I'm going to show you that as soon as I get this tightened up. So part of the reason why I didn't start immediately because I had a really bad fuel leak, and that's why that code came in for the fuel pressure being depressurized during startup. So that's fine. So let's start it up now. So just that fast, I put the fuel rail on, it pressurized and started right on up. The check engine light is on. I wonder if it's on because of the fuel pressure, but it starts right up. I am going to check that code. Let me do it another time. This is third attempt. Yeah, starts right up. Before it wouldn't start up, and it would just rotate. Starts right up every time. Let me see, did the check-in light come on, or did it go off? Did it stay on? It's probably still stay on. Yeah, I gotta see what that code is. Let me see what that code is. I think that was the Honda I was working on. Yeah, that was the Honda. Golly, 257 codes. I got logged in here. I just cut it off to start it back up to see what it would do. Let's see what codes are displayed. Please just be only about fuel pressure. Oh, this is good. This is really good. Okay. So we don't have any more timing codes. The check engine light went off. So now I can clear the codes for some strange reason. Before it would not allow me to do that. Let me go back out and go back in. Okay. Let's shut it off and cut it back on. Awesome. Cool. Hey, look, let me go out here and maybe let's check, make sure you ain't got no fuel leaks. Wait a minute. Got a little leak there. Let me blow that out and recheck it. So it's been running for about 60 seconds after blowing it out. Currently I don't see anything puddling. So hopefully we're fine with that. So we should be good. Cross our fingers. So the only thing I need to do is change the oil and we're fine. Clean my area up here. When I change the oil, I'm gonna clean everything up around the vacuum pump, but that's not leaking anymore since we got a new seal. We showed you the part number for that, showed you the part number for the injector O-ring, so you don't have to go to the dealer, and you can go to get it from the aftermarket area. So, and that was $20 also, no, $25 for the injector kit. So the seal was $20, injector kit was $25 at O'Reilly's.
Now this isn't, I hate that this wasn't like a full-fledged diagnosis and repair, but hopefully this will offer some sort of transparency if somebody decides to take this route. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna try to see if I can remember the guy's name that I wound up seeing on YouTube. One guy discussed it about what he did. Another guy, actually, I saw him take a hammer and chisel. I didn't want to do that. I'd rather heat it up, let it expand. I can comfortably rotate it. So that's the route I wound up taking. I didn't see anybody else do that, but I just needed to skim through information to see what I'm up against. I did not order a camshaft, obviously, same factory cam. The only thing new is the seals and the pump, and that's working fine. The brakes feel good. The amount of time it took me to do this was about, well, not including all the running around, I'm going to overestimate and say 5 to 6 hours. I'm well overestimating, and but definitely if I had to tear this stuff down again, I will do it in a heartbeat. But this is because this is my first time ever dealing with this kind of issue. But luckily there was service bulletins about that. So with that said, it's a good idea to have a good source of information. And the information I do go to when I need service information, teardowns, and repair procedures is Identifix. So that is some very useful information when it comes to getting some idea to point you in a better direction. All the little minute steps, I mean, we've got to utilize other sources. I needed a visual representation. Well, one of the guys on YouTube helped me out with that. And so I've done something similar with the reluctor wheel failing, but never to this degree. And unfortunately, with the keyway, it wasn't positioned as the manufacturer had it positioned, but the lobes were fine, and that's what threw me off. And I can't even tell you, it was kind of weird sleeping last night thinking about that. So hopefully this is of some assistance to somebody else, because hopefully I don't have to go through this again. And if I do, I know I don't have to change the camshaft. I can simply just heat up that reluctor wheel just like I did, rotate it with the large channel locks, and get it set, be on the way. But if anything happened, I'll definitely update. Hit that link, subscribe to the channel, stay informed, how to research my work. See you on the next one.